The world we inhabit today is filled with a breathtaking diversity of life. Among them are creatures of immense power and formidable presence, predators who command our respect and, at times, our fear. A polar bear on the ice, a great white shark in the deep, a tiger in the jungle. These are the modern titans, animals who would have little trouble making a quick meal of a human if the opportunity arose. They represent the pinnacle of evolution in our time, perfectly adapted to their environments, masters of their domains. We look upon them with a mixture of awe and trepidation, understanding our place in a natural world that is still, in many ways, untamed and perilous. But the Earth has a deep, long history, a story written in stone and bone. As we journey back through the epochs, we find that the terrifying creatures of today are but shadows of what came before. The planet once hosted a menagerie of beasts so immense, so powerful, and so utterly alien to our modern sensibilities that they seem to belong to the realm of myth. These were the true monsters of our world's past, animals that pushed the boundaries of biological possibility. Their world was one of constant struggle, where size and strength were paramount for survival, and the scale of life and death was altogether grander. So, let us embark on a journey into this lost world. We will travel back through the mists of time, peeling back the layers of prehistory to witness creatures that defy belief. From colossal carnivorous whales locked in titanic struggles in primordial seas, to child-eating eagles that ruled the skies with iron talons. These are the stories of 20 deadly animals that you will be profoundly glad are now extinct. Prepare to meet the true nightmares of the natural world, beasts that make our modern predators seem almost tame by comparison. In the vast, open plains of Pleistocene South America, some 1 million years ago, a true giant roamed the land. This was Arctotherium angustidens, the giant short-faced bear. To picture it is to reimagine the very concept of a bear. Standing on its hind legs, it could have reached a staggering 11 feet tall, high enough to look down into a first-floor window. It was the largest and most powerful land carnivore of its time, a behemoth of muscle and fur weighing over 3,500 pounds. Dwarfing even the most formidable Kodiak or polar bear of today. Its sheer scale is almost incomprehensible. It was a walking fortress of predatory might. Its immense size was not for show. Arctotherium was an apex predator, and likely an opportunistic one. With long, powerful limbs, it could run at considerable speeds, chasing down the giant herbivores of its era, like giant ground sloths and toxodons. Its massive skull housed jaws capable of a crushing bite, used to bring down prey many times its own size. But it was also a kleptoparasite, a formidable bully. Its intimidating presence alone would have been enough to scare other predators, such as saber-toothed cats, away from their kills. It was the undisputed king of its domain, a creature of such terrifying power that nothing, truly nothing, would have dared to challenge it. High in the skies above ancient New Zealand, a shadow would pass over the land, a shadow that brought with it a swift and brutal death. This was the domain of the Haast's eagle, the largest eagle known to have ever existed. With a wingspan of up to 10 feet, it was no mere bird of prey. It was an apex aerial predator. Its talons were as large as a tiger's claws, powerful enough to pierce bone. It didn't soar majestically on thermal updrafts like the eagles of today. It was a forest hunter, using its relatively short, broad wings for explosive bursts of speed and incredible agility through the dense woodland canopy. Its primary prey were the moa, giant flightless birds that stood up to 12 feet tall. The eagle would attack from above, at speeds estimated up to 50 miles per hour, striking with such force that it could kill a creature 10 times its own weight with a single devastating blow. But the most chilling part of its story comes from the legends of the Maori people, the first humans to settle New Zealand. Their stories speak of the puakai, a monstrous bird capable of swooping down and carrying away children. Tragically for the eagle, its fate was tied to its prey. When humans hunted the moa to extinction, the great bird's food source vanished, and this magnificent, terrifying hunter disappeared from the world forever. The word rodent might conjure images of a small mouse or a common rat, creatures we often dismiss as pests. But travel back 3 million years to South America, and you would encounter a rodent that would shatter that perception entirely. Meet Joseph Artigassiamonisi, the largest rodent ever discovered. This was no scurrying pest. It was the size of a bull, weighing an estimated 1 ton. It stood 5 feet tall at the shoulder, a behemoth that makes its modern relative, the capybara, look like a mere toy. It lived in a world of lush river deltas and forests, grazing on aquatic plants and fruits. While it was likely a herbivore, this giant was far from harmless. Its most prominent feature, aside from its sheer size, was a pair of enormous incisors, each over a foot long. Scientists have calculated the force of its bite, and it is truly staggering, 3 times more powerful than that of a modern tiger. These formidable teeth were not just for chewing tough vegetation, they were almost certainly used for defense, a devastating weapon to fend off the formidable predators of its time, such as terror birds and saber-toothed cats. To face this creature would be to face a furry, 1-ton battering ram armed with dagger-like teeth. It redefines what it means to be a rodent. Australia is a land known for its dangerous wildlife, but its past held a predator that would make even the saltwater crocodile seem tame. This was Megalodon, a giant monitor lizard that roamed the continent as recently as 50,000 years ago. Imagine a Komodo dragon, then triple its size. Megalodon could grow up to 23 feet long and weigh well over 1,000 pounds, making it the largest terrestrial lizard of all time. It was a true monster, a real-life dragon patrolling the Pleistocene outback, an apex predator at the absolute top of the food chain. Like its modern relatives, Megalodon was not just a brute, it was a sophisticated hunter. Its serrated, blade-like teeth were perfect for tearing flesh. But its true secret weapon was its bite. Evidence suggests it was venomous. A bite from Megalodon would have delivered a cocktail of toxins that prevented blood from clotting and sent its victim into shock, allowing the giant lizard to simply follow its wounded prey until it collapsed. Its reign of terror coincided with the arrival of the first humans in Australia. One can only imagine the terror these early people must have felt, knowing that this colossal, venomous lizard was stalking the same landscape. Their arrival may well have sealed its fate, as this true dragon vanished from the earth. The unique evolutionary path of Australia produced some truly strange and wonderful creatures, but few were as deadly as Thylacoleo carnifex, the marsupial lion. Despite its name, it was no feline, but a member of the same group as wombats and kangaroos. This was a predator built for ambush and overwhelming power. About the size of a jaguar, it was exceptionally muscular, with a stocky, powerful build and semi-opposable thumbs on its forepaws, tipped with a huge, retractable claw, perfect for grappling with struggling prey. It was a creature designed for a close-quarters, brutal fight. Its most terrifying feature was its skull. Thylacoleo possessed the most powerful bite, pound for pound, of any mammal, living or extinct. Instead of canine teeth, it evolved enormous bolt-cutter-like incisors at the front of its jaw. Analysis of its skeleton and prey fossils suggests a chillingly efficient kill method. It would likely ambush its victims, hold them fast with its powerful claws, and then use those incredible incisors to sever the spinal cord or crush the skull in an instant. As the Australian climate grew drier and the large herbivores it hunted disappeared, this incredibly specialized and formidable predator faded into extinction, leaving behind only bones and a fearsome reputation. Long before the age of sharks, the ancient Devonian seas, some 360 million years ago, were ruled by a different kind of terror. This was the era of the placoderms, the armored fish, and their undisputed king was Dunkleosteus. This was not a fish as we know it. It was a 20-foot-long aquatic battering ram, its head and torso encased in thick plates of solid bone, rendering it almost invulnerable to attack. It moved through the water like a living torpedo, a relentless predator that dominated its underwater world with brute force and terrifying efficiency. Dunkleosteus had no teeth. It had something far, far worse. The bony plates of its skull extended into 2 pairs of razor-sharp self-sharpening blades that formed a devastating beak. Its jaw mechanics were astonishingly advanced for its time. It could open its mouth in 1/50th of a second, creating a powerful suction that pulled prey directly into its shearing maw. The bite force was immense, estimated at 8,000 pounds per square inch, powerful enough to snap a modern shark in half. Nothing in the sea was safe. It could crunch through the thick armor of other placoderms and dismember the largest creatures of its time. It was, quite simply, the ocean's first great superpredator. When we think of prehistoric predators, one image often comes to mind, the iconic saber-toothed cat. And you know, the most famous of them all is Smilodon, which is often called the saber-toothed tiger. Living across North and South America until about 10,000 years ago, it was a predator built for power, not speed. It was more robustly built than a modern lion, with immensely powerful forelimbs and a short, bobcat-like tail. So, it wasn't a pursuit predator that ran down its prey over long distances. Instead, it was a master of the ambush, a specialist in close combat grappling. Its defining feature, of course, was its colossal canine teeth. These were not teeth for slicing, but for stabbing. Up to 11 inches long, they were surprisingly fragile and could snap if they hit bone. This meant Smilodon had a very specific and honestly terrifying method of killing. It would use its incredible upper body strength to wrestle large prey like bison and ground sloths to the ground, pinning them securely. Only then, with the victim immobilized, would it deliver a precise, deep stab to the soft tissue of the throat, severing major blood vessels and causing a rapid death. It was a brutal, efficient killing machine of the Ice Age. In the Eocene forests of Inner Mongolia, around 45 million years ago, lived a creature that, honestly, just defies easy classification. Its fossil remains consist of a single, enormous skull, nearly 3 feet long. From this one piece of evidence, scientists have pieced together a picture of Andrewsarchus, which for a long time was considered the largest terrestrial mammalian carnivore ever to have lived. Imagine a creature the size of a rhino, but with the predatory instincts of a wolf. It was a hoofed animal, surprisingly related more closely to modern hippos and whales than to canids or bears. This hoofed predator, potentially weighing up to 2 tons, had jaws filled with large, powerful teeth, suggesting a diet that included almost anything it wanted. It was likely an omnivore, but with a strong carnivorous preference. Its immense size would have allowed it to hunt the large, slow-moving mammals of its time, such as early rhinos and brontotheres. It may also have scavenged along the shorelines, its powerful jaws perfect for cracking open the shells of large turtles or the bones of beached whale-like creatures. Andrewsarchus represents a strange evolutionary experiment, a giant hoofed predator unlike anything alive today. 60 million years ago, in the hot, humid rainforests of what is now Colombia, slithered a snake of truly nightmarish proportions. This was Titanoboa carigenensis. Forget the anacondas and pythons of today. They are mere garden snakes in comparison. Titanoboa reached lengths of up to 42 feet and weighed an astonishing 2,500 pounds. At its thickest point, its body was as wide as a man's waist. It was a creature so vast it could not have supported its own weight on land, and spent most of its life in the water, a true river monster. As a constrictor, Titanoboa's method of killing was suffocation. But the scale was immense. It shared its environment with giant turtles and prehistoric crocodilians, and it hunted them. It could have swallowed a cow whole, had they existed. The pressure it could exert during constriction would have been immense, an estimated 400 pounds per square inch, equivalent to lying under the weight of 1.5 Brooklyn bridges. It was the undisputed apex predator of its ecosystem, a colossal serpent that ruled the rivers of the Paleocene epoch, a true titan among snakes. So, the name itself, Megalodon, means big tooth, and honestly, no name could be more appropriate. For millions of years, from about 23 to 3.6 million years ago, this colossal shark patrolled the world's oceans. It was the largest and most powerful predator in vertebrate history. Growing up to 60 feet in length and weighing over 50 tons, it made the modern great white shark look, well, like a guppy. Its teeth were over 7 inches long, serrated and heart-shaped, built for shearing the dozenar through flesh and bone. Fossilized teeth have been found on every continent, which is pretty solid proof of its global reign. Megalodon was an apex predator on a scale we can barely even comprehend. Its diet? The largest animals in the sea whales. In fact, fossilized whale bones have been found with the unmistakable bite marks of Megalodon's enormous jaws. Its bite force was the most powerful of any known animal, strong enough to crush a small car. It could have swallowed a rhinoceros whole. The extinction of this oceanic titan, likely due to a cooling climate and the disappearance of its large whale prey, fundamentally reshaped the marine ecosystems of our planet. The oceans became a safer place for the ancestors of the great whales we see today. In the late Cretaceous period, as dinosaurs walked the earth below, the skies were dominated by a creature straight out of fantasy. This was Quetzalcoatlus northropi, the largest flying animal ever known. It wasn't a bird, but actually a pterosaur, a flying reptile. And it was gigantic. With a wingspan of 36 feet, it was as wide as a small private jet. When it stood on the ground, its head was as high as a giraffe's, reaching 18 feet into the air. Its long, toothless beak was like a giant pair of tweezers, sharp and deadly. For a long time, scientists thought it was a scavenger, or maybe skimmed for fish like a modern seabird. But recent discoveries have painted a more terrifying picture. Its anatomy suggests it was a terrestrial stalker. Like a monstrous winged stork, Quetzalcoatlus would walk on all fours across the prehistoric plains, using its colossal beak to pluck up any small animal in its path. This included lizards, mammals, and even small dinosaurs. It would snatch them up, and with a flick of its neck, swallow them whole. It was a giraffe-sized flying predator that actually hunted dinosaurs. The crocodile is, honestly, an ancient design, a perfect predator that has survived for millions of years. But about 112 million years ago, in the rivers of what is now Africa and South America, there lived a crocodile of such epic proportions it earned the nickname Super Croc. This was Sarcosuchus imperator. It grew to lengths of 40 feet, twice as long as the largest saltwater crocodile today, and weighed up to 8 tons. It was less a crocodile, and more like a living, breathing submarine, armed with teeth. Its skull alone was nearly 6 feet long, and its jaws were lined with over 100 thick, powerful teeth. Unlike modern crocs, its snout was long and tipped with a large bulbous growth called a bulla. And honestly, the function of that is still a mystery. It didn't just hunt fish. Sarcosuchus was an ambush predator on a colossal scale, capable of taking down the large dinosaurs that came to the river's edge to drink. It would lie in wait, a submerged log of death, before exploding from the water to drag its massive prey to a watery grave. It was the undisputed ruler of the Cretaceous rivers. For many years, Tyrannosaurus rex was seen as the ultimate dinosaur predator. But, a more recent discovery from the deserts of North Africa has revealed a contender that was even larger, and honestly, way stranger. This is Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, the longest carnivorous dinosaur ever found, stretching up to 50 feet from snout to tail. Its most striking feature was the enormous 6-foot-tall sail of skin and bone on its back, but this was not just a land-based giant. It was something new, something different. Spinosaurus was a semi-aquatic predator, a dinosaur that spent much of its life in the water. It had a long, crocodile-like snout filled with conical teeth, perfect for gripping slippery prey. Its nostrils were set high on its head, allowing it to breathe while mostly submerged. Most remarkably, it had a broad, paddle-like tail, a powerful motor for propelling itself through the massive river systems it called home. It was a monster that hunted giant prehistoric fish, sawfish, and perhaps even ambushed other dinosaurs from the water's edge. It was a dinosaur trying to be a crocodile, a true river devil of the Cretaceous. South America was an island continent for millions of years, and in this isolation, a unique group of predators evolved to dominate the land. They were the forest wrasses, better known by their chillingly appropriate name, the terror birds. These were giant, flightless birds, the apex predators of their time. The largest of them, like Kelenkin, stood 10 feet tall, a feathered nightmare of muscle and bone. They were built for speed, with long, powerful legs that allowed them to run down their prey across the open grasslands. Their primary weapon was their head. A terror bird's skull was enormous, up to 3 feet long, and tipped with a wickedly hooked beak, like a giant eagle's beak on the body of an ostrich. They were not peckers, they were killers. One theory suggests they used their powerful legs to deliver devastating kicks. Another, more gruesome theory, is that they used their head like a pickaxe, striking downwards with their massive sharp beak to shatter the bones and skulls of their victims. For millions of years, to be a small mammal in South America was to live in constant fear of these feathered tyrants. In the forests of Southeast Asia, as recently as 100,000 years ago, there lived the largest ape that ever walked the earth. This was Gigantopithecus blacki. While we have only found its fossilized teeth and jawbones, they are enough to paint a picture of a truly colossal primate. Standing an estimated 10 feet tall and weighing over 1,200 pounds, it was a real-life King Kong. It was more than twice the size of a modern gorilla, a creature of immense bulk and staggering strength. Despite its intimidating size, Gigantopithecus was a herbivore, its huge molars perfectly adapted for grinding tough, fibrous plant matter like bamboo. It shared its environment with our own ancestors, Homo erectus. Imagine being an early human, exploring a dense bamboo forest, and coming face to face with a 10-foot-tall ape. While likely not an aggressive predator, its sheer size and strength would have made it an incredibly intimidating presence. Its extinction, likely caused by climate change that wiped out its primary food sources, marked the end of the line for the truly giant apes. The same ancient oceans that Megalodon patrolled were home to another, equally terrifying apex predator. This was Leviathan melvillei, a giant predatory sperm whale named after the biblical sea monster and, the author of Moby Dick. It was a true monster, reaching lengths of up to 60 feet, similar in size to Megalodon. But where Megalodon was a shark, Leviathan was a mammal, an intelligent hunter with the largest teeth of any animal known to have existed. Its teeth were a foot long and as thick as a man's arm. Unlike modern sperm whales that use suction to feed on squid in the deep, Leviathan was an active predator in the upper ocean. It had a full set of massive, functional teeth in both its upper and lower jaws, designed for one purpose: to hunt and kill other large marine animals, including other whales. It's believed that Leviathan and Megalodon were direct competitors, the two supreme predators of their time. One can only imagine the titanic battles that must have taken place in those primordial seas, as these two 60-foot leviathans clashed for control of the ocean. The dire wolf, Canis dirus, is a name familiar from fantasy, but it was a very real and formidable predator of Ice Age America. It lived alongside the gray wolf but was a distinctly different animal. It was heavier and more robustly built, weighing around 150 pounds, about 25% larger than the largest gray wolves today. It was a creature built for power and endurance, a marathon hunter adapted to taking on the megafauna of the Pleistocene. Its teeth were larger and stronger, capable of crushing bone. Fossil evidence, particularly the thousands of skeletons found in the La Brea tar pits, suggests they were pack animals, just like modern wolves. But their prey was on a different scale. A pack of dire wolves would have been capable of bringing down horses, bison, and even young mammoths. They were the dominant canine predators of their time, a common and honestly terrifying sight across the North American landscape. Their extinction around 10,000 years ago coincided with the disappearance of the large herbivores they hunted, leaving their smaller, more adaptable cousins, the gray wolves, to inherit the continent. The cold, windswept plains of the Ice Age, known as the Mammoth Steppe, were home to a bestiary of giant shaggy mammals. Alongside the famous woolly mammoth lived another, equally impressive beast, the woolly rhinoceros, Coelodonta antiquitatis. This was a tank of an animal covered in a thick, shaggy coat of fur and weighing up to 3 tons. It was perfectly adapted to its harsh, frozen environment, a symbol of Ice Age resilience and power. Its most prominent feature was its 2 massive horns. The front horn, made of keratin, could grow up to 3 feet long and was flattened like a blade. This wasn't just for display or defense against predators like cave hyenas. It's believed the rhino used this huge, paddle-like horn to sweep away snow, clearing patches of frozen ground to get at the meager vegetation buried beneath. It was, honestly, a living snowplow. Cave paintings made by early humans show these creatures in vivid detail, a testament to the impression they made on our ancestors who shared their frozen world. The hyenas of today are known for their powerful, bone-crushing jaws, but their prehistoric ancestor took this ability to a terrifying new level. This was Pachyrhinoceros brevirostris, the giant short-faced hyena. It roamed across Eurasia and Africa during the Pleistocene, and was the largest hyena ever to live. It was the size of a lioness, weighing over 200 pounds, but with the classic powerful build of a hyena, with high shoulders and a sloping back. Like its modern relatives, it was both a capable pack hunter and a dominant scavenger. Its short face and immense jaw muscles gave it a bite force strong enough to splinter the bones of elephants and rhinos to get at the rich marrow inside. In a landscape filled with formidable predators like saber-toothed cats and lions, the giant hyena was the ultimate opportunist, capable of driving other carnivores from their kills and leaving nothing behind but bone fragments. It was a crucial, if gruesome, part of the prehistoric cleanup crew. The Amazon River Basin today is a world of immense biodiversity, but 8 million years ago, it was a vast inland sea, and in that sea lived a reptile that made the anaconda and black caiman of today seem like, well, lizards. This was Purosaurus brasiliensis, a giant prehistoric caiman. It is one of the largest crocodilians ever to have existed, reaching lengths of over 40 feet and weighing more than 8 tons, a rival in size to Sarcosuchus. It was the unquestioned, absolute apex predator of its environment. Its skull was 5 feet long, broad and massively built, housing jaws with a bite force estimated at a staggering 15,500 pounds per square inch, twice that of a T-Rex. It didn't just eat fish, it ate everything. Its diet included giant turtles with 3-foot shells, enormous river dolphins and the huge 3-ton ground sloths that came to the water's edge. It would perform the classic crocodilian death roll, but on a scale that could tear apart a small car. For millions of years, the inland sea of South America belonged to Purosaurus. Our journey through time has shown us a world far more ferocious than our own. These 20 beasts, from the sky dragon Quetzalcoatlus to the river titan Purosaurus, were the kings and queens of their epochs, masterpieces of predatory evolution. Their extinction reminds us of the planet's ever-changing nature, where even the most dominant of creatures can vanish, leaving only whispers in stone. It is a humbling thought to realize that our modern world, with all its dangers, is but a quieter echo of a far more perilous past. We are fortunate, perhaps, to live in this calmer interlude of Earth's long and violent history. But before we make you sweat over any more crazy prehistoric creatures, let me talk about something much nicer. Today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, who are celebrating their 4th birthday. Raid is an epic fantasy collection RPG with over 800 champions to collect and customize. You can build your perfect team to take on dungeons, clan bosses, and the arena. To celebrate their anniversary, they're giving all new players a free starter pack with a free epic champion, a full set of gear, and other awesome goodies. You can also enter the promo code 4YearsRaid for even more rewards. The special in-game events are only available for the next 30 days, so click the link in the description to get started. Now, with our tour of these ancient terrors complete, we are left with a profound sense of awe. The world was once a stage for these true giants, and while we can be grateful we don't have to face a Megalodon on our beach holiday, their stories enrich our understanding of life's incredible and sometimes terrifying journey on this planet. So get your Raid Battle Squad together for protection, and join us next time as we explore more wonders of the natural world, past and present. Thank you for watching.